all us racers, and she put up with a lot from phone calls. Need that. You know, I fell in on the last part of it, so I wasn't around for the first part or the first half, but I was there for the last 13, 14 years. She got to put up with Tom Bell. I've heard her say some things about him he might not like. He might not have showed up today. She never said much about Frank. I guess he didn't make her too mad. But Tom Bell, she used to give him hell. She's put up with all of us. So Buzzard, he told me to keep his name going at the racetracks. He knew I would, stickers, hats, koozies, whatever. And he told me to give away every year. He wanted me to do a Lifetime Achievement Award at a banquet or something in honor of his name. Buzzard Race Cars Lifetime Achievement Award. And we're going to do one this year at the Shadyhill banquet. And we're going to do 2 this year. So we're going to give Granny the Lifetime Achievement Award for putting up with all us racers. What do you think, Granny?
Not supposed to make me cry.
You got thick skin, don't cry.
No promises. I got thick skin. I guess so, to put up with that stuff. I want to thank everybody for coming. This just means the world. Stash, the first pit guy. Howard, the first flagman. Mary, I'll be nice.
Pit lady.
I've been telling everybody all night, I feel like a pit bitch. I feel like a pit bitch. And then, who shows up? Mary. I love you. Anyways, yeah, whatever. I'm not a speaker. There's a lot of you that weren't gonna come that did, and I'm grateful because this is what I wanted, was more like a reunion. Just so we're on the same page. Chris made.
Hey, Donna, she ain't trying to be like you.
She gonna get you again. Don't tell me to put nothing. I love you too. No, I'd always get on to Tom at the shop because every time he'd pick up his parts, he'd peck. And that drove me crazy. I'm like, Tom, quit pecking. Quit pecking. He'd come back and do it again. Tom, damn you, quit pecking. So he said, he explained to me that he used to be a drummer, and I understood. But you used to so get on my nerves. As far as Papa and Chris being tight, they've always been tight. Papa hooked up right after Chris's daddy died, and Mike kind of filled the spot. Chris has always been there for whatever Mike and I have needed or wanted, and they've been like family. And I'll be the first to say, and I've always said, Mike and Chris always got along because they're both big assholes.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're gonna shut that down for about 30 minutes. Flagman's gonna get in the flag stand with his daughter, and we're gonna make a couple laps around here with Buzzard take him for his last lap around Shadyhill. and then we'll open that back up. And if anybody's got anything they want to say, I know there's many of them here. Don't be shy. Come let it out. Don't let me do all the talking tonight. Mr. Frank Marshall here. I know he's got one.
Yeah, not much on stories, but God bless that crabby old son of a gun. But did you know Harv? He came by it honestly. Let me tell you, that was it was a lot of fun racing all those years with you guys. Yep. Thank you for everything you did for us. And sure sorry to see him go so soon. I was green. I started at 36 years old, and he taught me a lot. Yeah, and I miss him. God bless him.
Just a little something about Mike. Mike used to always watch me in the back straightaway because he knew if I had my flags down together that we was going racing. I'd see his head turn and look at me. He'd come around the corner, he was ready to go. But a little story before the race one time. Well, the guys had to run a certain compound tire because the guys couldn't afford the softer tires. So they made it fair that everybody had to run a certain compound. Okay, well the guys would come out racing and they'd put bleach on their tires to soften them up, right? Well, that was okay, but when you were done racing, you could see the white on the tires. You knew you were cheating. So I go over to Mike's house one day before the race. Mike's got his car up on the jacks. I said, Mike, what are you doing? He goes, you don't see this. He's got his valve stems off and he's pouring bleach to put a funnel in the inside of his tires. That's my little story about Mike. I love the guy to death.
I've known Mike and Debbie for 40 years. The first time I met Mike, I was 17 years old and I was pregnant with my first child. He was racing at Broadway. My water broke. My dad won his first race. Raleigh was the flag. He gave me shit, told me I was not stepping on that track. I took 1 foot. Mike, Debbie, Brian Dunaway, Eric Dunaway, Bill Davis all helped me get to that car so I could take a picture of my papa. I left the racetrack. I had my son that night. Debbie and Mike have been not just friends, not just racing family. They have been a part of my family. My son has known Mike for 39 years. Mike took his numbers off of his race car so that my son could have a memory of him, and we hung it in his bedroom. Debbie and my mom were best friends. Anywhere you saw Mike Hollifield, you saw my mom and dad. My father and my mother were David and B. Steer. I lost my dad 3 years ago. I have never been on a racetrack until today. I drove 3 hours today to be here with all of you guys. Mike has hit every one of us in different ways, and all we can do is keep his memory alive by keeping this racing family like it is and get it bigger. That's what Mike would want. Thank you guys, and I love you.
We're gonna let Tom Bell say a little something, then we're gonna take him for a ride before it rains. Hopefully it don't rain. Looks like it's moving south on the radar.
I forgot to tell you all, if somebody starts picking on you on the track, you do like Mike did. You get you a piece of aluminum and make you a shit list. Put it in the cockpit. Scott Martin knows all about it.
I don't want to get real emotional, but Mike put me in my first modified. And that old Dick Leach Chevelle that we won a lot of races. I think we won 11 races that year. racing against old Big Daddy and Bob McLean, which was great racing back in the day. But I went up to see Mike, took that Chevelle with me, and he had a Leaf Spring Modified sitting there. I think Frank had just bought his. And he made me one hell of a deal and became, I don't know, one of the best friends I could ever have. 18 years I raced with that man. Never had another car, always Buzzard. We stayed with it, and he ended up getting me a championship. The look on his face that weekend, we dethroned Nick Allen, we all know, right? Nick won 6 years in a row. We won on the 7th year by 3/4 of a point. Nick won the feature that night. I had to run second to beat him in the championship. And in the winner's circle, Nick was winning the feature, and my family and us were down there with the championship. Next weekend, or 2 weekends later, we didn't have no crew. Plymouth was having their World Series of Dirt, first annual World Series of Dirt. Me and Pops went over there by ourselves. Dad was only 70 at the time. But last lap passed to win that son of a bitch, and Buzzard and Bill Davis were sitting next to each other, and old Gene was standing behind them filming this race. And I seen Buzzard and Bill Davis jump up and put their arms up and yelling and screaming. It was one of the best times of my life. But I also remember one night at Crown Point, it was Bill Davis and old Pogue, or Illinois, the old guy. They said, somebody help me out. No. Anyway, we're standing up there looking at the flag stand, and they looked at me and they said, boy, you know, you got 80 years of experience that you're racing against tonight. I was starting third, they were starting first and second. But I got to race with them guys and ended up beating Bill that night. And old Mike was so happy, man. I don't know, I can't say enough about the conversations. You know, y'all, a lot of you know he went through some times with his grandson. I went through some times with mine, and some of the conversations we had, private conversations that nobody else even knows about, I'll never forget. So it goes real deep, and I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I made the trip. Chris and I spoke about it, you know, I was here when Mike was in hospice, and we had to leave to go home, and Chris called me that night, and Mike had passed. I think I cried halfway to Florida. But he and I made a decision that night, we're gonna have this at some point. And thank you for getting with me and making sure that I can be here for this weekend. I love you too, brother.
We're gonna take Buzzard for his last lap, just in case it rains, and then we're gonna get back. We got to get some more people to talk. Now, Taylor's got to talk. His daughter, if she wants to. Lee Hobbs got to talk. We want to hear some more stories. So we just ain't gonna listen to music. We want to hear some stories. So get your minds right. Get some stories. We'll see y'all. I think we're gonna do a couple laps and pull down by Victory Lane. If y'all want to come down there and take a picture.
Used to race with Mike up at Gas City, Mount Pillier, Bunker Hill, I believe, and we ran up at Crown Point, and I think that was about the last years he was driving a lot up there, and I think Shane Cottle drove for him a little bit, but me and him had a lot of respect for each other, and he always told everybody, you know, it's what he told me. He said, I tell everybody, if you don't want to buy a car from me. And I've pretty well said the same thing to him through all the years. And if I needed anything at the racetrack, he would be one to be there to give it to me. And as a lot of people know that I've raced with, anything in my trailer anybody knows, I don't care if it's any part. If I'm leading the points or whatever, if you're battling me for points, that part's yours if you want it. And Mike was really a super good guy. I known him more at the racetrack than I did off. And he I think in life he was probably a much better person than he was at the racetrack, because when we all go to the racetrack, as everybody knows, you know, you kind of be a hard ass at times, but that's what you got to be successful. And Mike was definitely that, and he was actually a real good friend of mine.
Thank you, Lee. We got Scott Martin here. Granny said get Scott Martin up here. Is he good or does he want to talk? Come on up here. You got to have one in you.
Well, I wasn't prepared for this. But Buzzard and I go way back. We go back Kankakee, Crown Point, racing each other. Me looking up to him and Bill. Those guys were legends of our time. We got to watch them win championships, build race cars, and win. And would help any of us at any time for anything. One thing about Mike is he knew what he wanted to do, and he did it. And he did it his way. Whether you liked it or anybody liked it or not, he was going to do it his way. And he helped me out many times. I got the privilege of driving his car and Bill's car for them, which is a highlight of my racing over the years, because I looked up to those guys when I was 16 and started racing. They were in their heyday. They were winning championships. They were the guys that you would go stand up by the fence and watch them race, try to learn from them. And I was hitting the wall every night, and my dad said, go talk to Bill or go talk to Mike. And I did, and they both helped me. So I know that Bill was Mike's mentor, and when Bill got up in age, Mike took over the history of building cars in their garage, doing it their way. And he'll never be forgotten for his unique approach to things. If you didn't like it, get out of the garage. It was basically how it was. But when you needed help, he was there to help you. So rest in peace. Hopefully those two guys are looking down, smiling, talking about the old days. That's right, yeah. So thanks for everyone coming. Thanks for this nice get together. I'm sure it means a lot to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Where's old Sean Wiltshire at? You better hurry up and get over here, because this is going to take a while. Get your ass up here, Sean. Buzzard used to say, I don't know, he's a fucking used car salesman or a book-faced bandit. I think he's both.
Hell, first and foremost, thanks everybody for coming out. We love that guy like a dad, a grandpa, an angry brother, an angry cousin, an ornery person, whatever. But if you've learned anything about me and Buzzard, it's that guy can take any driver and make him a winner, including a pavement princess like me. So I think he's accomplished so much throughout the years and helped so many. I mean, just the respect of seeing everybody here, just everybody coming together for this guy, for Granny. I've made a million phone calls to this lady or whatever, and all she ever had to say to me was, do you have a part number? So, True. I have a couple different cars, but always a sweetheart to deal with on the phone. I always love to see her and Buzzard banter back and forth. Sometimes I would turn a cheek and walk away because it got a little hot. But it was always fun to watch. But I got to thank Buzzard from the bottom of my heart, because I was at best an average race car driver on asphalt, and he made me somebody on dirt. So I owe him at the very least that. And it's crazy, I took his, which he was upset about, I took his Buzzard Street Stock to Rockford Speedway, and as crazy it was the best damn asphalt car I ever had, and it was a dirt car. So he was very happy to know that we were very fast in his dirt car on an asphalt track, and we did that 2 years in a row. As he says, it's just circles, kid. You know, would you do this at Ileana? No, you wouldn't. So stop doing it on dirt. You still got to make the corners round. He taught me more than I'll ever know about racing in general. But I think the biggest thing he taught me was invest in people. And we've invested in our friendships that have been long lasting. Frank Marshall, I mean, everybody's on the map. You've won a ton. Chris Tippett, you've won a ton. I've won a ton. Big Daddy, Kenny Carlson. I mean, the list will go on for days and days and hours of how many people he's helped. But the biggest thing he was investing in the people. You know, if you were good people, you knew you were good people by him. So I just thank you for all the friendships that I've gained because of Mike Hollifield and Granny and everybody else in the dirt racing world. And one day we'll get back to the dirt racing and where we should be. Everybody, God bless you, and have a great night. Be safe.
Thank you. Where's old Taylor Hollifield? Where's Taylor at? Taylor won't talk? Hey, Spirit, where's Taylor at? What about old Barger there? Mr. Barger, get up here. Get up here. Come on. Just a paragraph. I know y'all got a lot of history.
Say the same thing. It's just you meet so many people doing this, and I met Mike years and years ago, and the friendship just continued, and you make more friendships with people just when you're in the shop with him, talking to him, and just the private conversations you have with this man was just unbelievable what he could tell you and help you with anything he could help you with, and never expected nothing back for. He was a great guy, and I mean, people that knew him knows what I'm saying about how he would help you. And it didn't matter if it was his car, whose car you was ever in, he would still help you go out there and win a race. And that's the main thing Mike, the way he treated you. It didn't matter if it was his or not, but I do know one thing, the first modified the guy ever worked on was mine, and it wasn't his car, but it was a modified, and from there we just continued to go on. And when I knew him when it was with a bomber, he didn't care. I mean, there's a car, there's a race car, and you was part of the family if you was in a race car, and that was Mike.
I know y'all got some good stories.
Well, there's really only one that stands out, and I haven't heard anybody else talk about this, so you'll probably get a joke about it. Probably, I'm gonna go way back to 86, 87, Crown Point Speedway. I was just kind of getting my feet wet in that late model class we had up there. And I was getting a little better at that time with the big cars, and I had good luck with the street stock, but bigger cars I was struggling. And Mike was one of them fast guys that used to pass you when you thought you were going as fast as possible.
And then there'd be these 2 orange cars always go past you. Like, how in the world are these guys going that fast? Well, I think after a few years, I was picking up the speed. Not quite up to their specialties yet, but doing well. See Mary laughing back there, she kind of knows. But I'm gonna say, this is my point of view. Mike had a different one that night, I'm sure. I believe I was holding him up. I was ahead of him, and he had to start in the back that night, and I was more up towards the front for whatever reason. But Mike came to visit the pits after, in my pit area after the feature was over. And he was not very happy with me. I don't know if it was because the newer guy was be able to stay in front of the guy, or if I did something to him. I don't know. This is my point of view, but he wasn't real happy, and he turned around and he slugged me. First time I wasn't even a fight. It was a slug, and that's all there was to it. It ended that fast too, but that was how I really got to know Mike Hollifield at the beginning. We had our struggles for a number of years, but it calmed down, and then we both got older, I suppose, and he talked me into purchasing my only car I ever bought brand new, was that iMod. And we got to be better friends, of course, with that, and he taught me so much. It's just unbelievable, and see what he could do. Tom and a few of the other guys talked up here. It was amazing how the man could stand up here like with the rest of us and watch a car out there go around a track during racing, and he could diagnose your trouble. I know Frank knows this too. How in the world a man could do that? But he could. It was amazing. And the longer I got to know him, the better acquainted we got. And he was a tough son of a gun, but he had a heart. He really did. And he loved all of us. Their own way. He would never tell you that, but you knew it. And we all know it. That's my story.
Thank you.
I'll tell you one more thing about Mike Hollifield. Oh, you're hearing all these racing stories? All kinds of old stories about him and ornery and all that. Yeah, all those are true. All those are true, but I don't know if you know how smart that guy was. Let me tell you. I don't know how this came up, but one day he said, I don't remember exactly how it came up. He told me that he could recite every chapter of the Bible in order. And let me tell you, that's an impressive feat. Anyone? I bet there's no one here that can do that. I'm not preaching to you, but that guy was sharp. Let me tell you, he was sharp. He impressed me. He worked hard with me, taught me how to drive. Hell, I didn't know how to drive. I ran into everything in and out of the pits for a little while. But there is one more guy here that can diagnose a car from the outside of the racetrack. He stands right here. Steve Nagy, been with me all these years. Rick, you guys are great, but yeah, that guy can also do that. But yeah, try that. Every book of the Bible. Good luck.
Thank you. You know, I would have never made it. I hit everything there was. I hit it all. My wife, they would say, "Who you here with?" She'd say, "I'm Tom Bell, the 31 car." She was embarrassed. She wouldn't even come to the pits where we was. She wouldn't sit by me or nothing. She was embarrassed. She said, "If you can't do no better than that, you need to sell that car, 'cause it's embarrassing." And over the winter, watching videos and listening to Buzzard and hanging out all winter, he redid my car, put his setup on, put his front end on it, his springs and shocks, and the next year we won the championship. So he coached me every week. I'd spend Sundays at his house watching videos, our videos, and then videos from him at Crown Point or wherever back in the day. Without him, we would have never made it. And I'll say he's the best coach that there ever was. That's what he was a coach. He had a different way of dealing with everybody, and he knew what you needed, and he knew how to get it. If you listen to him, he'd get you around the track. You know what I'm saying?
I used to get on to Mike all the time because you guys would come to the shop. He would give you advice, you wouldn't listen, and he'd take it out on me. Tom Bell in particular. What? And I told him one day, I said, you need to tell Tom Bell, not me. So I went out in the shop and I timed it just right. Tom was leaving and I said, and you better effing listen to him because I'm not gonna listen to this shit no more. And he goes, Tom goes, what are you talking about? I go, he tells you everything to do to your car and you do nothing, dude. I said, what the hell's wrong with you? Thank you.
Yeah, we got hats, shirts, koozies over here. Like we said earlier, if anybody wants one. Food trailer's back open. They got a tip jar up there for the workers. It's all free, but you can tip them if you want to. If not, that's fine. What about Taylor Hollifield? Taylor Hollifield up there.
You watched him at Broadway Speedway or South Lake Speedway or Crown Point Speedway, whatever it was. Watched him here at Shadyhill. Mike has 2 track championships here. And my story was, we used to have practice here on Sundays, and Mike showed up in his little purple hot rod that he had. And he was in the infield there with me. And Mike was watching one car going around, and he looked different. He looked like he was, like emotion. So I went over to him and I said, you miss this stuff, don't you, Mike? And he goes, more than you'd ever know. And he had like a little tear. And then he walked away and he came back to me and he said, but if I was racing, I'd kick every one of their asses out here. And so I thought, I said, I'm not going to bet against you. So, but anyway, thank you, Chris. Awesome.
Tom, I'm on.
What about it, Butch?
Got a story.
Tom's gonna tell a story, then we're gonna get Butch up here.
I was asked to tell this story, so I'm sure most of you remember. I think it was the second to our last year racing here, and on the start of the feature, the original start, I ended up upside down on top of another car in front of the flag stand. It was a rough night. Car set in the infield. Everybody was upset. I wasn't that upset. Here's the thing. Mike built safe race cars. Everybody that's ever had one could say that. I've been upside down in Mike's cars 3 times. My grandson was coming here 2 weeks later, or actually the next week, from Arizona, and it was going to be his first time at the racetrack. And we took that thing home. We looked it over. Mike come down. We looked everything over, found a couple of bent parts. Went behind the shop and started grabbing doors and quarter panels and roofs and hoods and everything else. And we come back that following week. I'll never forget it because the fans were amazing. When we come back that following week, my grandson was up here in the grandstands on his daddy's shoulders, and we won the heat race. And the crowd went absolutely nuts. But the moral of the story is Mike always built safe race cars. We had many conversations about he's not gonna, sacrifice safety for speed in no means, and he never did. And I think that's why we stayed with him so long. But I was asked to tell that story. I hate the story as much as Billy does and everybody else. It's shit that happens at the racetrack, but the bottom line is we were back the next week in that car because it was not bent and it was a safe car, and come out and kick some ass that night. So anyway, just was asked to tell that story to everybody.
Thank you. Yeah, I got totaled out here one night at Shadyhill, coming off of turn 2, wound up at turn 3 against the tire with Brad D. Young on top of me in an I-mod. And we pulled the motor the next day. Dave Randall did. Motor and transmission out. I took it to Buzzard. We had a week off. 2 weeks later, we raced. He took my car, put it on the frame machine, and he said, I'm going to pull that right side down where I want it. They totaled you out. I can put it where I want it now. And he replaced every bar from the dash bar forward. New body on the car, motor, tranny, all that back in it. 2 weeks to the day. We come right here to Shadyhill. We won the race of champion, the heat race, and the feature. First race Granny ever come to see me race. And when I was on the front stretch, I could look over and see Don Stone on the back stretch. So the last 4 laps, I lifted a little. It might have been the year before Billy got the place, I think, but it might have been Billy's first year. I'm not sure. But I could see Don Stone kind of when I looked over a little bit, I could kind of see that blue car, and I started lifting. So we won. We come back, won the heat race, race of champion, and the feature. And he walked out on the track first time he ever come took a picture with me. And he didn't come to take a picture. He come out there to give me a cussing. And he told me, you don't lift in one of my race cars. I said, I wasn't lifting. He said, bullshit, I can see you upset in the car the last 4 laps. You was lifting. The car was upset. It wasn't the same. I make a living selling race cars. You lap the whole damn. I said, I can look over and see Don Stone on the back stretch. He said, lap the whole damn field. That's how I make a living selling race cars. And he said some other things too, but he wasn't too happy with me. What about Butch? He got some stories. He got some wild stories to tell. We ain't gonna tell all of them.
Tested. When I was with Mike, when we was down in Shelby, I think that was Bill's first race car, and Mike was down there. But anyway, we was down in Shelby. And I'll just tell a quick story. Me and Mike had an old school hauler. They could drive up on, and set it at an angle. Can't hear you. She told me to shut up. Can you hear me now? But anyway, this girl gave me a 66 Chevelle, and we took that old school hauler up there to get it at Griffith's. I'll never forget it. We come back down 65 going to show me, and the fucking hood blew off the car. And I looked at Mike, and he looked at me. He was driving. Well, we just kept going, you know. But me and Mike, we go back so long. It's just every day I think about him, you know. It hurts. But I got good memories of Mike. I always loved him. That's about all I got to say.
Thank you. Gonna get a little Buzzard to talk. All right, we're gonna leave you out there. Oh, anybody else want to say anything? Anybody got any stories, anything to say? We're gonna get some music going here in a few minutes. I could sit up here and talk all night. I mean, I could endless stories. What about Dee Dee? Dee Dee, come up here and talk. Come up here and tell them about Pawpaw. She can't do it. Where's your bikini at? Where's your bikini at? You can't show your ass every weekend? All right. Taking the weekend off?
Hey, you know what, Dave, my hubby Dave, D27, and Buzzard were close friends. We went there all the time. We were in the area, we went there. Debbie and I are close. I mean, of course, because we were there. And David's raced with all of you. You know, David was in for it for the fun. He knew he was not going to win a race, but actually he did. I had his trophies at his memorial that we had 2 weeks ago, and I got all of his trophies off of the shelf that had been up in the garage forever, for 25 years. They were corroded. I did clean them up for him, and there were quite a few from Shadyhill that he won. Yay! D27! He did good. My hubby, like I said, he was in it for the fun, and he knew he had fun. Yes, he did. But we're talking about Mike Hollifield right now. I call him Modified Mike. Modified Mike. I love him. I love Debbie, and I love the racetrack.
You ready, Taylor? You gotta get up here, boy.
I'm gonna try to talk where I can be heard. Plenty of mic in. First thing, I just want to say thanks to Chris for putting this together. This is really something else, and something I know you didn't have to do, right? So
I was getting this job a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I hear you.
It was supposed to be little.
I hear you. So again, I would thank everybody for coming out. I spent most of my time with my Uncle Mike right here at this racetrack, actually watching a lot of the faces I see out here run around the track. I say thanks again, giving Buzzard the opportunity to become Buzzard and build the cars that he built and build the friendships that he built and the family that he built. Of course, that couldn't have been done without all of you. So, man, a few words. Again, thank you all.
Thank you, Turner. Bobby Partain. Where's Bobby Partain? I know he's got some stories to tell about Buzzard. Get up here, Bobby. You got something good to say, at least one story. One paragraph, something nice. Be as nice as you can be. I know you got some stories about Boney Ass.
No, only thing I gotta say, I remember Kittle had first car brought over there, built, brand new. And he wanted to remove tacks on the rear. And you know how I told him? You want that fancy shit, you call Rodney Parker or Kenny Carlson. Hey, my shit's my way. Hey, I don't do that shit. Hey, my shit is my way. And he always called me Otto Richardson. I don't know if you know Otto Richardson. They always call me Otto because I take junk shit and try to make something out of it. And every time he saw me at the racetrack, he'd say, "There's no Otto."
Thank you. Anybody else want to talk? I'm looking around here. Where's Richie at? Richie still here? Oh, Moose. Where's Moose at? Buzzard said Kenny wouldn't say shit if he had a mouthful of it. Don't put him on the spot with no microphone. He told me that 100 times. Gotta be somebody here who wants to talk.